Okay, this is the SNAR's monthly meeting presentation section of the presentation for December 4th, 2021. We're going to bring on Roland Hoffman, Kilo Charlie 6 Juliet Papa Golf, to talk about amateur television. And let's bring down your slide and let's get you on here. Roland, go ahead and say hi, and then I'll introduce you.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you, Barry. And hi, Roland Hoffman here, KC6JPG, and I am the Digital Systems Director for the Amateur Television Network. And so to get started, I'm going to go ahead and start my share screen, and we have a little 15-minute presentation about...
Great. Before you do, I just want to say how I ran into Roland, because John said I pull rabbit out of the hat.
This is a great story.
I was on DMR. There's a Monday DMR on 30177, and it was after Papa System Chat. It was after that, and I had a technical question about something. So I asked the question, and Roland was one of the many people out there, and he answered it. Nothing about ATV. We just gotten, how do you do a da-da-da-da-da?
We talked about DMR dual networking.
Yeah, so we got in a conversation, just like people do on different radios, and support each other. And one thing led to another, and we get to know each other, and he says he does amateur television. I said, wow, that would be cool. So I got on some of the stuff. Next thing you know, I said, hey, what do you think about giving a presentation? He said he would love to. So welcome, Roland.
Thank you very, very much. And of course, I got my buddy here, Gary, W6KVC. He'll help me out with this presentation as well. Say hi, Gary, and say hi to the group.
Well, good morning, everybody up there north of us there, Roland and I. Well, I'm high up on a mountain about 6,200 feet above San Bernardino, so a little nippy up here this morning, but no snow yet. So back to you guys, W6KVC.
Oh, very good, Gary. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and unmute my video and audio, and you can see on the W6ATN screen, that is our live output on our repeater. And so, Gary, do me a favor, go ahead and hit transmit on your transmitter, and you will be able to see Gary's picture coming up onto the Santiago Peak repeater system. There he is, and there he is live on our ATN repeater system. And we're feeding
live right now, going out over W6ATN.
Exactly. He's going out to W6ATN and also other repeaters throughout the area. And so we have repeaters up here at Mount Wilson in Southern California, Santiago Peak, Snow Peak that covers the high desert area of the Coachella Valley area, as well as like in Palm Springs area. Oak Mountain that serves the Simi Valley, San Fernando Valley area, parts of Ventura County. We have Santa Barbara serving the Santa Barbara coastline. And what am I missing? Job's Peak serving the Inland Empire. And so we have approximately about 40 people checking into our nets on a weekly basis. Our nets are on Tuesday evenings at 7:30 p.m. local time, Pacific Standard Time. And we definitely encourage you to join us with the Amateur Television Network. And you can join us without actually investing in any RF equipment. You can go right into our website, which is whereby.com/ATN1. That's our video ingestion system and chat area. So when we're not doing nets, the room is open. You can chat along with other ATVers from around the world. We have chapter systems throughout the country and the world, including Tony over in Tasmania, Australia, who is an official ATN chapter for the Amateur Television Network. Okay, so without any further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and play a 15-minute video. And that video is simply entitled ATV, the Original Social Network.
social network. This is ATV as you've never seen it before. It's what ATV is really all about. This is different from other presentations. It is not about technology. It's about purpose and content. This is our focus today. We need to communicate. We need to be seen as well as heard. ATV is more than technology. It's a social network. ATV nets enhance ham socialization, and they're fun. Hi, I'm Rod Fritz, WB9KMO, and I live in Mesa, Arizona, near Phoenix. I've been a ham for 50 years and have had ATV repeaters operating for the last 40. I got on amateur television in 1975 and installed my first ATV repeater in Santa Barbara in 1980, which is still on the air. I retired and moved to Mesa 8 years ago, where I installed 2 more ATV repeaters and links. I'm currently the Vice President of the Amateur Television Network Arizona chapter. Why are we on amateur radio?
I'm going to demonstrate this new helmet.
We need to communicate.
Everything it does.
Early man used grunts, drums, gestures, drawings, and smoke signals. People need to communicate. It's essential in our lives. It connects us together, and it's fascinating. Telegraphy sent distant messages instantly. Voice was more natural for everyone to use. Ham radio was born. It's a non-commercial privilege that we're very fortunate to have. Average citizens are on the air to everywhere. Technology is the tool. Communication is the purpose. Why are we on amateur television? We need visual communication. Words weren't good enough. People wanted to see things and see them move. Hams were TV pioneers 100 years ago. They experimented with amateur television. ATV technology advanced over the years. TV began with simple mechanical spinning discs, then electronic tube cameras and CRTs. On to solid-state cameras and flat-screen TVs. Then it advanced from analog TV to digital TV. ATV isn't just technical, it is personal. Technology was the tool. Communication was the purpose. ATV communication evolved. Simplex connected 2 hams together. Repeaters reached many hams at the same time. Networks expanded range to states, countries, and even to space. Now we're on the air to everywhere and to everyone. That's a quick introduction. Allow me to introduce my friend, Roland Hoffman, who will elaborate.
Thank you, Rod. Hello, I'm Roland Hoffman, KC6JPG. I'm the Digital Systems Coordinator and Net Control Operations for the Amateur Television Network. We meet every Tuesday evening at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time or Pacific Standard Time, and we invite you to join us on the Amateur Television Network. So, my little bit of history. Well, I've been a broadcast engineer since 1990, And I am certified. I'm a certified broadcast engineer, broadcast technologist with the Society of Broadcast Engineers. Been a ham radio operator since 1990 and been involved in amateur television since 1993. Well, ATV established, would you believe, a social network. Think about prior to the internet explosion in 1994. Well, instead of having radio communication, TV operators and TV and video enthusiasts got together and decided to make video communication. And therefore, transmitters and exciters and amplifiers were being built, cameras attached, and now, guess what? Point-to-point communications with other stations. Well, going from one station to another, that's all well and good, but you're only receiving and transmitting one station. And so therefore, repeaters were built back in the 1980s. And therefore, many ATVers got on board. And a social network began. So, how do we establish this social network? Why did we establish this social network? Well, to swap notes and learn and experiment within the amateur radio spectrum, within our electronics hobby, and for some of us, our profession as well. Telling stories and conversing on a variety of topics. Sharing videos of family vacations is always a lot of fun. But most importantly is providing emergency communications, visual communications, and also support with local events such as parades, races, bicycle events, and many other different social events. Providing a public service communication as well. Educate the public about what hams do. And of course, socializing and having a lot of fun. So, would you like to see what's it like to be involved within the original social network? Well, let's check it out on an ATN net on the Amateur Television Network. Okay, Aaron, welcome to QSO. Welcome to QSO Today. What would you like to say to everybody?
Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Aaron, call sign KM6IAU in Yucca Valley. Just working on some projects right now. Always good to check into the Amateur Television Network. That's on whereby.com/ATN1, because we're number one. At least that's what we're told here by our fearless leader, Roland. And always good to see everyone's beautiful faces. You know what? I'm inspired when I come here. Always good attitudes, and yeah, this is one of the things that I've always enjoyed about amateur radio was the hobby, was the fellowship, the coming together and getting things done. And it's technical, and I like technical stuff, so I feel right at home here. Anyway, that's all I've got. This is Aaron, KM6IAU.
Hello all, this is Keith in 6GKB, Yucca Valley in the high desert, eastern high desert of north of Palm Springs. We're out here coming through the Snow Peak repeater site out in the San Bernardino Mountains. And yeah, we've been doing this for quite a few years, and I'm enjoying it highly. And as they like to otherwise say, it's nice to be seen as well as heard being an amateur radio operator. So yeah, amateur television is the way to go. The improvements over the years have been so great, from analog to digital. It's just a great hobby. So everybody need to check it out and join us sometime, whether you have your ham equipment or not. Yeah, we're all going to be here and have a great time on our nets and after party nets in 6GKB, Yucca Valley, Southern California.
Hi, everybody out there. This is Gary, W6KVC, high up in the San Bernardino Mountains in a little village called Running Springs, above San Bernardino, in between Big Bear and Lake Arrowhead. Have good sites to several of the ATV repeaters, and get in on RF quite well, along with using Whereby whenever I need it, or if I have to remote out of town. It works quite well, but most of the time I use the RF portion of it. And we're going to let Mike tell probably about the truck that we've been working on and all the neat stuff. Mike and I last week did quite a bit of work on it. So we do have a mobile ATN rig, and it works quite well. W6 KVC.
Well, hello out there. This is Mike, Kilowatt 6 Lima Delta Kilowatt. We're in Valencia, California. And anybody familiar with the Los Angeles area, we're about 35 miles north of Los Angeles, right near a big amusement park called Magic Mountain. And the only magic about it, it takes your money. But anyhow, we're all doing well here. I hope everybody out there is doing well. So with that, we'll turn it back to Roland.
Hello to everybody. Well, I thought I'm up here in Crestline, about 15 miles west of Gary in Running Springs. So I'm over on the other end of the mountain range. Here's a little R3 receiver, which is picking up an analog ATV transmission from one of our repeaters. This is coming from the Job's Peak repeater. And let's see other items I can show off. Our repeaters have multiple inputs. We have a 2.4 gigahertz input. And here's a little FM exciter. This is 3 watts. This and a little directional antenna will get you in. Another method is digital. And Roland talked about the high-des exciter. This is it. Connections in the back, and you add your amplifier, and you're on digital. On the used market, you can get this is an AM transmitter made by PC Electronics. Also has a down converter for 70 centimeters. And the last item, this is vestigial sideband, and it's an AEA transmitter. Also has a down converter for 70 centimeters on it. So many different ways you can use to get on ATV. And of course, if you want to use a cable TV modulator, you can add those to an amp. So there's lots of different ways to get on ATV. Anyway, back to Roland.
So there you have it. As you well know, amateur television is
The original social
Network.
And now let's go back to Rod, WB9 KMO.
We want to thank other organizations and individuals who contributed. Credits go to the Amateur Television Network, ATN, Boulder County Amateur Radio Services, BCARES, Radio Amateur Satellite Corporation, AMSAT, San Bernardino Microwave Society, SBMS, Gary Heston, W6KVC, youtube.com/amateur television network, and whereby.com/ATN1. For more information, contact ATN and our presenters. The Amateur Television Network at atn-tv.com, Rod Fritz at wb9kmo@gmail.com, Roland Hoffman at kc6jpg@charter.net, Jim Andrews at kh6htv@arrl.net, and Mike Collis at wa6svt@gmail.com. Hey, don't get left behind. Get on ATV. Please stick around for our questions and answer session starting now.
Well, there you have it. There's a presentation of the Amateur Television Network, the original social network. And I'm here to answer any of your questions. KC6, and of course, Gary is with me as well. KC6JPG.
Okay, I'm going to open up. Thank you so much, Roland. I'm going to open it up here in a minute. You can either raise your hand, or in a second we just have our group on our end at SNARS, Sierra Nevada Amateur Radio Society, just give their call sign. I want to start off with a question, which is I've been thinking of, and that is we always talk about, ham radio, you can't do it for pecuniary interest. So question for you is, when you're showing videos and things on ATV, tell us what you can and can't show, as far as,
Well, basically
period.
the golden rule is anything within the Part 97 rules, you can do it. So obviously you can't do it for invasion of privacy. You can't have anything with music in it, unless it's what I call inadvertent music. In other words, if you're doing a presentation and had incidental music in it, that's okay. But if you're, let's say, doing like a TV radio show or anything like that, that's a taboo thing to do on amateur television. So, but basically it's about ham casting. We definitely like to show meetings like the San Bernardino Microwave Society. We just did our meeting last Thursday. And we had what we call a very, very special presentation from the San Bernardino Microwave Society, where they brought in the members from both the Zoom side as well as in person. And basically they had 4 minutes to tell them about their experience, how they got licensed and how they got involved, and how they got involved in mainly in microwave technology. Well, sometimes those 4 minutes became 14 minutes and 24 minutes. But other than that, but that's pretty much what you can show. You can show ham radio meetings. You can basically, it's communication, just like what we do on HTs, just point-to-point communication, or just not point-to-point, but just simply communicating with other amateur operators, mainly showing family videos, of your vacations, that type of stuff. We love doing that. So obviously copyrighted content, that's taboo as well, unless you get permission from the owner. But usually it's just simply we create, we have people of many different talents here on amateur television, from builders to content creators to social media gurus, as we call it, you name it. So the sky's the limit when it comes to amateur television, as long as you're within the Part 97 rules.
And 7ROJ, I have a question.
Please, John, go ahead.
I was stationed in the San Diego area until late '96, and I remember that they used to put both the audio streaming from NASA and all the NASA missions out over the air. And I remember going to one of the meetings in person, and this is back in the old analog ATV days. You guys had, I believe it was Mount Otai, had a repeater, an ATV repeater on it. And one of the things that was so incredibly cool was we saw this grainy picture. And I realized now with streaming and everything else, we were able to actually watch all the live video from the NASA missions. I realized that we're now going more to the private space flight, but are you guys allowed to, or do you guys sometimes show like SpaceX launches and stuff like that?
As a matter of fact, yes, we do have a blanket coverage to show NASA Select, which is great. And of course, during the space shuttle activity, we had a lot of people in tuned with the Amateur Television Network watching the space shuttle events. Mount Wilson was our dedicated repeater at the time, showing NASA Select, as well as Mount Otai and Palomar Mountain, that they were showing NASA Select when the space shuttle was up in orbit. And I have to say that that's probably the big reason how I got involved with amateur television, because during my broadcast time, in my broadcast days, our cable channel have NASA Select on it. And so, but I didn't, where I lived, I didn't have a NASA Select where I lived. And so what I did, I purposely bought a down converter and a beam antenna to point to Mount Wilson so I can watch the space shuttle launches. Well, when I turned my down converter on, instead of seeing astronauts, I saw this old man rocking in a chair with a call sign KA6DPS. And I just said, who in the heck is this? And it was Dave Couch. And he was on the Santiago Peak side, and he was 90 degrees off my beam. I didn't have a rotator at the time, so I went back up on my roof, rotated the antenna towards Santiago Peak, and got a P5 picture, P5 meaning like closed circuit quality picture. and there was a frequency for 2-meter communication, 146.43. And so I start communicating, and he go, "Who dat?" And I go, "KC6JPG." And basically he enticed me to complete my ATV station. Since I built a receive station, it's time for me to build a transmit station. And so he encouraged me to get a transmit station, and history was made. But yes, since the space shuttle program pretty much was done, retired, we didn't have many interest in people watching NASA Select, but this is something that we can definitely talk to our ATN group in regards to bringing back NASA Select, because we do have the means to do that.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for the great presentation.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Well, thank you so much.
KG7QXE.
Yeah, go ahead, Wes.
Thank you. Roland, I'm curious. I heard one of your operators are, I guess, broadcast something. And I heard him talking about power. How much power are you running on these transmissions?
Well, me on the local side, I'm going to have Gary pop in a moment here because he'll fill in on his side too. But on my side, I'm actually running 12 watts using DVB-T, digital video broadcast, we call the terrestrial modulation. And that's because with DVB-T, you're sending multiple streams to combat the multipath problems that we have when it comes to terrestrial. And of course, the other mode is DVB-S, which is the satellite version. And we have quite a few repeater systems throughout the United States that are using DVB-S technology. And of course, with satellite is just simply sending one stream of video and audio into like a directional dish, and usually to a satellite. And the reason for DVB-S is because you can get one of these you can get the free to air set-top boxes, and they're really cheap. They're like $30 to $50 depending on where you shop around, and they're usually on the 1.2 gigahertz band. And that's like, for example, up in Northern California at Mount Diablo, for the Mount Diablo Amateur Television Society, they transmit output on DVB-S. And we here at the Amateur Television Network, we have 2 repeaters, which is Snow Peak as well as Oat Mountain. They are transmitting output digital with 4 megahertz on Snow Peak bandwidth and 5 megahertz bandwidth on Oat Mountain using DVB-T technology. And of course, our goal is to compress the bandwidth while having a really beautiful picture. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you to Gary, W6KVC. Gary, talk about your station, how many watts you're putting out, and how you get into the repeaters.
Yeah, well, I'm same as Roland. I'm running about 10 watts DVB-T here with digital. I also have an FM transmitter. It's not hooked up right now on 2.4 gigahertz FM, but digital is the way to go. It's, broadcast quality, 1080p, high definition. And you wonder why this old man's wearing a helmet. Well, I like riding my ATV. I live in the mountains, so I'm out there on my quad. And I also have an electric bike when I want to go to the store or whatever, puddle down the road, because I'm an old guy. I need the motor to push me back home once in a while when I'm climbing the hill. You're wondering why I got a helmet on. I just bought this helmet. It caught my eye when I was surfing for shopping and whatever. So it was on Amazon. See his little window up front? It's got a high def camera in it. So in the front of the helmet, there's a little SD card. When I hit the button on the side here, I can record in real time or take snapshots if I see something of interest while I'm out roaming creation out there that I love so dearly because I'm an outdoor guy. And it has a couple other things. Look in the back of the helmet. You see it bright red light. Let me get the little thing I put on my handlebar. I'm going down the road. It's got turn signals.
Cool.
Brake light on. flashing, to catch their attention so I didn't get run over. And another little neat thing, it's got Bluetooth inside the helmet's microphone and speaker. Since I'm a ham, there's my DMR radio, which we use on amateur television, ATV Talk. Well, I don't even have to pick up my radio. It's all in my helmet. If somebody calls me on my cell phone, it's in my helmet, hands-free. So this new toy, this is Santa Claus come a little early because Grandpa bought it a little early. The guy got to feed out money to all my grandchildren next week. So for amateur television, cell phone, safety, ham radio, this is my new toy to keep my brain intact while I'm out riding my toys, because I love to ride, and I still am as long as I'm able, along with amateur television. My ham shack is quite messy. Amateur television side, front of me over here is HF side. Stuff scattered everywhere right at the moment on the benches. They're all full. So anyway, I've been a ham radio operator since 1963. I'm also commercially licensed in broadcasting. I got that in 1962, so I've been a long time at it. I've been in amateur television since 1986, 87 is when I got into it. And so I love all modes of communications, and amateur television is one thing I like to do. And I'm anxious to go put an SD card in this thing and go out and share some video of some of my adventures in here in the mountains. So that's about it for this old guy. And amateur television, you can do a lot of things with it. You don't need to be just talking heads, demos, electronics, clubs, you name it, do it. And that's what we do here and enjoy doing it. And we like doing clubs too. So people that can't always get to a club, at least they're at home and can participate. And whatever. I know Zoom and all this other stuff's come by since the pandemic, but still love my amateur television, getting out there and doing it real time with RF and participating. So that's about it. W6KVC.
Well, very good, Gary. Thank you very much for your great presentation, showing your shack, and of course that beautiful technology helmet. And that's the one thing about the pandemic. You know what they say, something bad forces something good. Well, let me tell you, we're getting a lot more people involved. We're doing a lot of Zoom meetings with demos like yourselves, and getting people involved and coming aboard on the amateur television aspect. It is a lot of fun. We get Stephen from Massachusetts, Jim from Colorado, and Wolfgang from Florida. So we get people from all around the country, and as well as Tony and Peter from Australia. It's just become one big party on Tuesday evenings. And of course, we have our Amateur Television Network, the Arizona chapter, on Sunday evenings at 7:00 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, or 6:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so, and we get together on the same system, ATN1 on Whereby, and we definitely encourage you to check us out. And I'm glad Barry did.
Very good. So thank you, Roland, and the other gentleman also. We're going to do a wrap up here for a second, and then we're going to do a separate recording of the Q&A. Two things I'd like to have you do. Could you three things. One is, somebody asked if in the chat you or the other gentleman could put the information about the helmet, so people want to know what it is or where to get it. So that's one thing. The other is, could you both type in the chat and also say verbally for the recording the ATN URL, and then also your URL, and then we'll wrap this section up and go to the Q&A section. Go ahead, Roland.
Sounds great, Barry. Well, you can always, if you have any questions whatsoever, you can always feel free to contact me, and of course, I'll put my information on the chat. KC6JPG, my call sign, @charter.net. So please feel free to, communicate with me, answer any questions regarding amateur television or broadcasting or how to fly kites, whatever the case may be. And of course, the website for the Amateur Television Network is www.atn-tv.com. And we got some wonderful photos, some historical photos of some of our meetings and how this technology evolved from our analog days. And here we are with the digital systems that we have. Repeater locations, site maps, coverage maps, how to set up an ATV receiving station and a transmit station, depending on what mode you want to